Hey, 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 everybody.
Good eye, mate.
Welcome to Where is the Love? I am one of your hosts. I am Stephanie Hawkenhall.
And I am Adisa Karanja Malik, also known as Gene Williams.
We are happy to be back. We have some information to share with you. Um, Mark, I don't see it on Facebook. You can watch us right now on our YouTube channels, Love Misunderstood Institute or Premier Fitness 0210. You can also watch us right now as we air the show on Amazon. You can watch us on Amazon Fire or on Roku. All you have to do is go and search Pod TV live. So PODTV space LIVE. And you can watch us live right now while we're doing the show. Otherwise, you can watch the replay. We're also being shown on LinkedIn. So on my LinkedIn channel. So wherever you're looking at us from, thank you. But those are just some places you can watch us. But
Yeah.
again, we're on TV right now while we're in the show. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have been talking about. Uh, you want to add anything before?
I'm good. It's rock and roll.
All right. So on our last show, we talked about how the brain responds to narcissistic abuse. And so now today on episode 124, our topic is emotional unavailable when love can't land.
Yeah.
So have you ever loved somebody who just couldn't meet you emotionally, no
Yeah.
matter how you tried? Or maybe you're the one keeping your walls up and you didn't know the walls were there. Today, we're talking about it. It
Yeah.
means to be emotional unavailable and what it means to be emotionally unavailable. So I pose this question to the audience.
Man,
Why do some people love with their presence but not with their hearts?
definitely the question.
So, Jean, you want to share something or you want me to go?
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed what it's like to be with a person who is emotionally unavailable. No matter how much you give, no matter how much you compliment, give and all of that stuff. They it's like no matter what you do, they're always just like they always keep you. It's like keeping you at an arm's distance, um, and just that's torture. You always kind of the mindset, what can I do to make this person, open up to me, let their guard down, and really the answer is nothing. The answer is nothing. You can do nothing. It's up to them. So
Yeah. And a lot of times, the reason why people, some of the reasons, we're going to get into some reasons, but some of the reasons why people are that way is because of different things that happen in their lives. And so they just don't know how to show up emotionally, or they've been hurt or some kind of trauma.
right,
Um, so something more than likely has happened in their life to make them that way. And
right,
sometimes they just don't know how to show emotion.
right.
So I don't see us. Mark, I don't. Jean, would you go ahead? I got to type Mark a message.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
All
see
right,
us nowhere.
all right. So I'm gonna talk about a few things. Let's talk about emotional availability in relationships, work, and family. What that means, how it shows up, and how it feels when you're experiencing it. How to know, You're emotionally unavailable, why it happens, the root causes and the trauma, and how to heal and reconnect. So first on the list is just to discuss what emotional unavailability is. So being emotionally unavailable means someone struggles to connect on a deep level, emotional level. They struggle to connect with, express, or respond to emotions, their own or someone else's. Um, Being emotionally unavailable doesn't mean someone doesn't care. It means their heart learns to survive by staying closed. Um, and well, I just a little more before I give my example. It's not always about being cold or heartless. Often these people care deeply. They just don't know how to handle emotional closeness. It's a defense mechanism. It can look like independence, self-control, or mystery, but underneath it's often fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, or habit formed from emotional neglect. This may be physically present, uh, charming, or even caring. That's it? Okay. But emotionally distant, guarded, or inconsistent. They avoid emotional intimacy because it feels unsafe, overwhelming, or unfamiliar. Um, it's not always intentional. It's often a learned defense mechanism from past pain or fear of vulnerability. Um, I guess I'll read this. So, for example, someone who says, "I don't do feelings," or "I'm just not emotional," or a partner who's great at fun and companionship but goes quiet when you bring up your needs. A parent who provides everything physically, food, clothing, safety, but rarely offers warmth or affection. Now, I said before that I've experienced it, with another partner, but after that, after that breakdown of that relationship that I was discussing, I initially was very emotionally unavailable. Had a hard time being open and to be, open, just being myself. Put my walls down to allow the person that I'm now married to, allow her, to be close to me. It was just difficult and scary. Like I don't, you know, it's like you want to do it, you want to be close, you want to allow your walls to come down, but it's like I don't want the same thing that happened to me last time.
Right.
So it's like it's taken me a long time to open up more, and I still have issues with it sometimes, where allow myself to be vulnerable with my partner. Uh, Man, yeah, it's difficult, it's hard, it's scary. It's like I want to be close to you, I want to be closer. I want to try this. I want to step out of this guarded state, to be more fluid with you. But it's like, man, it's scares you endlessly.
Yeah. It is scary because um you've given everything about you, hoping that you would be received and that everything about you would be received, and you love without limits, pretty much.
Right.
Um,
And
and now,
unconditionally.
and this is what you give. And so, because you've been hurt in those situations, you don't want to give again, um,
Yeah.
which is part of what you said. So, um, it's really hard because I mean you automatically put up defenses and walls because man, I don't want that to happen to me again. So
Right.
it's scary. Um, Mark, I don't see it on anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I used to tell the nigga all the time, like, after that situation, I walk around uh, in a shell with spikes on it. Just to, like I said, afraid to let people in, let people close. And it's like you feel like after you spent years allowing yourself to show your softer side and you get screwed over, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna wear this shell and let no one close, and that's lonely, and miserable. Um, man, it's relationships are tough, especially when you've been through trauma and things like that. So
Right. Um, so we're going to keep talking about this because there's so much more to this, but we do understand how tough it is to be emotionally available when you've been hurt or when you've been traumatized or when you've been abused. Um, and now is a good time to be talking about this because it's both Bullying Awareness Month and National Domestic Violence Month. And
right,
so, what a perfect time to be talking about being emotionally unavailable.
yeah,
So this is how it looks. Here's how emotional unavailability shows up in real life, in relationships, friendships, even family bonds. In communication, keep conversation. A person that's emotionally unavailable keeps conversations surface level. They avoid deep or personal topics. They keep things light, joking or switching topics when conversations turn emotional, and that's to keep them from engaging emotionally. Well, let me just joke my way through it. Um,
right,
they change the subject when emotions arise. They listen but don't engage emotionally. And something like this is said, well, that sucks, instead of that must have really hurt.
right,
So saying something like that sucks is not really engaging
right,
emotional, and that's
right,
keeping you from engaging emotionally. So they might sometimes people might ghost you or disappear for a few days after emotional conversations, and that's probably just because they are emotionally drained. But it
yeah,
also is because they're avoiding. Let me avoid, you know, getting deep into that conversation or engaging emotionally. So I just got to disappear. I can't take it. I can't handle it.
right,
You know, type of attitude. So they give minimal emotional responses like "I'm fine," "It's all good," or whatever. You
right,
know. So and then they give mixed signals, affectionate one day and cold the next. And that is really, really hard when somebody
right,
is like that. Because I don't know how you going to be today. I mean, you going to accept me and receive me today, or you going to push me away. And so that
right,
does something to your mental, when
right,
somebody does that. I don't know what you're going to be doing today. And that's tough.
right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. The tendency is to like feel like you've done something wrong. You
yeah.
know, what did I do? What did I say? You know, what I mean, like the saying I think I said a few shows ago about Cat Williams talking about his autistic son, I believe it was. The kid can't talk and he's sitting in the high chair and he's constantly running in there, showing him stuff. Is this what you want? Yeah, and throws it and, starts crying. So it's kind of like that. You're trying to find something that's going to, create that bond that you had,
Yeah.
that closeness when they're cold. Man, you know, and it's torture being in a
Yeah.
situation like that. But I also know what it's like to be on the other side of it. A person who is super affectionate one day, and then the next day you may be going through something. So it's like I need to create space. So like I said, I get it from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. But if if you well, we'll get to that part. But if you realize and recognize where you are and then start dealing with it from that perspective, then she all right? Okay, so let's talk about being emotionally unavailable in relationships. You want to
Mm-hmm.
tackle that, or you want
Yeah,
me?
yeah, for sure. So in relationships, uh, emotional availability struggles. A person who's struggling with emotional availability, they struggle to say "I love you" or show affection genuinely. They struggle to comfort or reassure their partner when needed. They avoid commitments or long-term planning. They may say, well, let's see what happens. They resist labels or commitment. Why do we need to define it? Man. Feels uncomfortable with closeness or dependence. They pull away after moments of closeness. Yeah, man. They prioritize freedom or personal space over connection. They may seem emotionally detached during happy moments or crises alike. Um, yeah, like I said, I see it both sides here. For a long time, I just was afraid. Uh, and I mean, I still need my own, autonomy. But, in a relationship, you don't give it up to be in a relationship with you. You share your space with a partner. Um, and so again, being emotionally unavailable is easy to be like, you know what? I don't want to label, uh, or shoot, the I love you part is easy, but avoiding long term planning and stuff like that's a fear of commitment. That's the term that they use now, fear of commitment. Um, but that's how it shows up sometimes. You want to be close, you want to be committed to this person. You're always around them, but it's like if we call it something, then that you know it makes it a thing that we have to uphold.
Yeah.
So
Yes, it's really hard when you're in relationships like that and recognizing that, we have to, in order for us to thrive, you know, it can't be this way. If we are put in a place of an emotional unavailability through our trauma and our situations in our past, then, like I said a little bit ago, we got to, you know, recognize where we are. That's so important. And then not only recognize where you are, but admit this is the place I'm in,
right,
in my mind or in my heart or wherever, in my emotions. And then, so I don't want to say no more because I'm getting ready to say what's ahead. So I'm
right, right.
talking.
So, all right. So in behavior, that emotional unavailability in relationships, it shows up as a person who emotionally shuts down during conflict. They seem detached, distracted, or not all there. And they may appear independent, but it is also actually disconnected or a disconnection between that person and their partner.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's like to shut down. Sometimes it's a good thing, but when it's a healthy relationship and you need to discuss things that are uh, deep, you know, you need to be there, you need to be present, you know. So yeah, and again, that would all stem from, or not all, because I mean I can't put a blanket on it. But I know, generally speaking, uh, to have that reaction is based off of trauma that a person has sustained over time. Because again, I know me, like you coming at me, there's either one or two things gonna happen. I'm gonna pull back and just be like, I'm not dealing with this right now, or I might need your energy with the same energy, and that's not a good thing either. So it's like finding that middle point, being able to talk about things in times of crisis, in times of conflict, in times of you know emotional being triggered. If you're going through something, your partner's gonna know what's going on. You okay? If they care, they're gonna want to know. So being able to something that Danique and I have worked on because she tell me all the time. You always say you're fine, and I know something is wrong. It's like so. I just in those times, are you okay? Not really. I'm working through something. Do you want to talk about it? Not really, or I'm still processing, so I don't really know, what it is. You know, so just again being aware, like you said before, being aware that there's an issue, um, and then to acknowledge it clearly, and that doesn't always mean talking it out in depth, but just coming to the realization that there's something wrong. I'm feeling a certain way, and either you don't want to talk about it right now, you don't know what it is, but the acknowledgement is the first step to healing.
Yeah. So something very important that you said that's so valuable, and that's, at least you've learned how to respond. And if both of y'all do that and always do that, then it's going to continue to get better. Um,
Right,
the relationship. And so what you said is, I say I'm fine, or I say, everything is okay, it's okay. But that's what you used to say. But now you say, well, I'm working through something right now and I'm still processing it. So in essence, what you're saying is, I don't have the language right now for this.
right.
So give
That
me
part.
an opportunity to process this, and then,
Hmm.
excuse me, and then we can talk. And that's awesome. I love that. And if
Yeah,
both of y'all do that, then y'all will come, okay, let me process this and get this together first.
right.
Then I can come to you, because communication still has to happen.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love that.
right. And,
That's great. Go ahead.
yeah. And something I want to add to that though is also understanding and being empathetic and flexible enough to understand that each person has their own way of processing things. Like
Yeah.
the way you do it, some people, as soon as an emotion happens, they're able to give you verbal diarrhea. They can verbally vomit it out to you right in that moment. They know. And some, especially going back to gender roles, men are notoriously told to, push down emotions. A man, emotional man, is supposed to cry, whatever. So, after being taught for so many years that a man is not supposed to be emotional, and then you come to this new day and age where they tell men and women to process, and there are more tools out there. We all have different ways of processing things now. It's like, okay, so for me as a man, it's like, okay, trying to find the words, find that language, and it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Um, but honor your partner. That was the ultimate thing. Honor your partner and their process.
Yeah.
Um, you force it, you'll cause the person to go back into retreat. You
Yeah.
know. So just like I like to end with, well, whenever you ready to talk, I'm here for you.
And that's really good too, because what you're saying is, I'm allowing you to process what it is you need to process and to experience what you need to experience.
Right,
And I'm available for you when you're
right,
ready to talk. So then that takes the stress off of her, or whoever you're dealing with. It takes
right,
the stress off, that temporary stress off of them. Oh, they're gonna be upset, or they're gonna be mad,
right.
because I'm not telling them right now what's going on. But man, we need space, you know,
Yeah,
when we're going through something. Because if you press the person or stress them out, you're gonna get attacked.
right. Yep,
So
yeah,
I love this conversation. This is
yeah.
this is
And
so.
on that, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. This is just so
Uh,
cool to me.
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it's like the a dying animal. A wounded animal. They get cornered and they're wounded. They lash out. You
Yep.
know.
And bite your
Uh,
butt.
you
Maybe,
know.
but they gonna bite you.
Right. They don't bite a chunk at you. Self-preservation. On the emotional forefront.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So where are we on how you know you're experiencing it? You want to go, or
yeah,
you want?
yeah. I get it. All right, so you might be with someone who is emotionally unavailable if When you're with someone emotionally unavailable, you feel emotionally hungry, always reaching for more connection that never quite comes. You feel lonely even when they're right beside you, and lonely in the relationship. Lord, Lord, Lord. Been there. Yeah, it's hell being like laying in the same bed as someone and like y'all miles away. I think there was a song somewhere, I can't remember how it goes, but I'm laying beside you and you're what I just said, you're miles away. It's like there's continents, there's oceans in between us, you know. Um, I'm
I'm
just a telephone call away.
Yeah, my body's with you, but my mind is on the other side of town. That's an old song. I know
Mm,
that song.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah. So you often
Oh,
wonder,
yeah,
do they even
yeah,
care
yeah,
about me? Ooh, that's deep.
yeah, yeah,
Because you know this person is supposed to care about you and love you. But you
right.
have to wonder, do they even care because of the space that they've put between you and that up and down? It just
Um,
made me think of being bipolar. I mean, emotionally, you're bipolar. You're up and down. You know, from one extreme to the other. You
right.
know, so I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's a yo-yo. It's a yo-yo syndrome. Again, I've been there. I've been the yo-yo. I know what it feels like. It's like you want me close when you want me, and then you got an issue or something's going on, so you send me away, and it's like who got time to be doing this all the time? This ain't no roller coaster.
Yeah.
I'm on an emotional roller coaster. With that song,
Yep.
man.
Mark said visualizing Gene as a yo-yo or a slinky.
It was dizzying, brother. It was dizzying. I swear it was. Man,
So maybe you crave deeper talks, but they never
mm,
go there. You find yourself chasing an emotional connection that never comes. Man, all of that stuff is hurtful.
yeah,
You constantly question if you're asking for too much. I'm gonna let you
yeah,
do the next.
yeah.
It's hard.
Oh yeah,
It's hard. I just want to be loved. That's all. Can you
right.
just
Hey,
love?
Lord, you can't love me. You can't love me for me.
Mark said it would be very dizzying.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it is,
Yeah.
man. Really, really. Oh, you
So
feel like you're doing all the emotional work in the relationship, man. Listen,
yeah,
yep, yeah. So I'm gonna give a brief story. I was in a relationship for a long time, and I was willing to go to counseling. Willing to do all the work, did all the work. I got into counseling myself. Um, and this person was like, if you try to keep pushing this therapy thing, I'm gonna divorce you. What? What type of
I'm trying to get us some help. We need
yeah?
help. You can't see this.
Right. What kind of idiot is this?
And you trying to push get farther away from me. You threatening me
Right. Right. Yeah.
now.
Now you gonna give me an ultimatum, huh? Okay. All right. So,
It ain't funny, it's
uh,
hurtful. It's just man.
yeah. Yeah.
Go on to the next one.
All right. Your emotional needs go unmet, but you blame yourself for being too sensitive. Oh yeah. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, trying not to push too much. Man, you feel unseen, like they only connect with the version of you that's convenient.
That's hard.
Woo, Lord,
That's hard.
preach! You gotta preach! You gotta preach, preacher. Raise the roof, or put it down, or something. I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what to do with my hands no more. I've been there. Yeah. Anyway, can be. They can be affectionate physically, but emotionally they're distant. And then, yeah, mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, they have
I
a
know where your
pattern.
thoughts just went to.
You
But
know
go on
what?
to the next one. We don't want to
Um,
stay
right, right. They may have a pattern. Relationships that start hot then fade quickly. Oh yeah. They express love through action, buying gifts, doing favors, but rarely through emotional words and openness. Uh, emotional unva- Emotional unavailability leaves you feeling unseen, unheard, and unfulfilled. Preach on. Even in a relationship that looks fine from the outside. Man,
there.
man, yeah. Preaching my life right there. And then this person was always like posting stuff on social media like we were so great, you know. But at home it was hell. There was so much distance, and then any time where things were uncomfortable, it was hell.
Yeah.
But everything is fine on social media. Hi, we're happy. Just post a picture of us in the past. But you and I ain't talked all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But
horrible.
anyway,
So,
yeah,
did you want to say something else?
nah,
Okay. So, how to know you might be emotionally unavailable. Sometimes we're the ones who struggle to connect, and that's okay to explore. Nothing to be ashamed of. Ask yourself, do I feel anxious or trapped when someone gets too close? Do I distract myself with work, hobbies, or my phone instead of connecting? Do I avoid talking about my feelings because I fear rejection or loss of control? And then lastly, do I often say, I don't want to get hurt again? If yes, it could mean your guard is up, not your heart is cold.
right,
So,
yeah,
why? Go ahead.
gotta say yeah.
So, why people become emotionally unavailable? And this is something I mentioned earlier. So, past trauma or heartbreak. If I don't open up, I can't be hurt. That's how you think.
Mm-hmm.
So, another reason why somebody might become, why people might become emotionally unavailable is childhood emotional neglect. They never learn how to share or process feelings. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to put in a plug here for Building Bridges KC. We're in the public school system as certified mental health coaches doing a resiliency program, Building Bounce, to help the kids learn how to help them acknowledge their emotions and then help them deal with them. So, to deal with them in a healthy way,
Mm-hmm.
bounce back from traumatic, hurtful experiences and to deal with them in the right way. And that's
Yeah,
so important. And it's helping us too. We say that a lot, the facilitators, we talk about how the things that we're teaching the kids is really helping us, pausing and breathing, instead of lashing out
yeah,
and reacting, but responding in the right way or in a healthy way. And it's really helpful. So I just wanted to add that. You want to add something to this?
yeah, definitely. So like, kind of bridging the two last subjects, the effect on the brain of a person who's dealing with a narcissistic relationship and emotional unavailability back to the childhood emotional neglect. Um, so a person who grows up in a household with a person who has narcissistic personality disorder often is again emotionally neglected, and even taught that when you show emotion, that you're pushed away, Um, uh, I've experienced that personally. I know that some family members that we know very well experienced that growing up. I'm pretty sure. my children are experiencing that right now because they were before. Um, you know, uh, how again you just told not to be emotional when you show any emotion or any anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. You're shunned, you're put down, made fun of because you're a crybaby, or you cry too much or whatever be the case. As opposed to trying to understand and giving that child the language and the tools so that they can healthily process their emotions. Because in a relationship with a person who is emotionally unavailable and narcissistic, again, making the two subjects, the only emotion that's acceptable is anger. They're okay with you being angry,
Yeah.
but they don't want you to be sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they cause that sadness. And if you show the sadness to them,
Yeah.
then another reason for them to lash out at you. You know what I mean? So this is cycle.
Yeah. And it's so hard, growing up that way, and even when you, have family members that continue that throughout adulthood. Um, it's super super hard because when you get put down for feeling the way you feel or doing something uh, that made somebody else trying to put this together in the right way. Um, but when you've been put down by something that somebody has said or done to you, then sometimes that person don't forget that particular thing. So every time, and I just had a recent experience, but every time you go to do that one thing that that person put you down about, then you go through this cycle in your mind of like watching them to see how they respond or listening for something that they might say to still put you down. Maybe they don't say it or do it in that same way, but they say something. I think the word would be like undercover, like you don't, or indirectly, like you don't
Mm,
know what they're talking about. So it's like you can never, some things you can never outlive from, a certain person or certain people, in your lives. And that's a very hurtful thing too. And so I find myself being uh, emotionally unavailable when it comes to certain things because I know if I say this or do this, this is the response I'm going to get. And I don't want
right,
to see that. I don't want to hear that.
right.
So it's real hard when things like that happen because like we talked about, excuse me, like we talked about earlier, it's hard to, I mean, you walking on eggshells pretty much because I know if I say or do this certain thing, then I'm gonna get this certain response or reaction from you. So I can't admit when I mess up, or I
Mm,
know you don't like this certain thing. So I know you're gonna be watching to see, or make something out of it, whether it's, I do my best or not.
mm,
Hopefully that makes sense without me
yeah,
getting into detail, but it's hurtful to experience that as well. So it's like, I don't live there no more in
yeah,
my mind, but then I find myself living there when certain things are said or certain things are done, whether they're direct or indirectly. So it's like I'm not stupid. I know what you're saying or what you're doing.
mm,
It's so hard. And so, looking at fear of vulnerability, equating emotions with weakness or loss of control. Wow, I wouldn't
mm,
even look at that, but that's exactly what I just got through talking about.
mm,
Um, and I'm not gonna say nothing else about it. So, you want to add something?
yeah. I was gonna say so. In essence, what you just described is called a trigger point. You know,
Yeah,
once you experience that initial trauma and you deal with something similar, it brings up the feeling from the first trauma, indecency. It's like again opening up a wound.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I
Yeah. And
definitely
so,
understand.
so
But
it's like, okay, I know when I do this certain thing, you gonna get be bothered by the certain thing that I do. And no
hmm
matter how well I do it, and I'm focusing on making sure that I do it so that it doesn't negatively affect you, but you already got in your mind um that, oh well, she when she does this is how it makes me feel. you know
hmm
so no matter how well I do it, it's still not going to be satisfactory to you.
right,
Hopefully that makes sense. And so that
right.
really bothers me, and it takes me, I mean, so I'm just going to say this.
Spill
I'm
the
just
beans.
this. So when you have in your mind, like driving as teenagers, for example, driving as teenagers, and you got it in your mind that every time I get behind the wheel, you go into this place of fear. And
hmm
so, no matter how careful I drive, even if you're not in the car with me, even if you're following me, then I'm still doing things wrong. And I put my signal light on. And, so it puts me in this place in my mind where I got to be extra careful about how I drive,
Right.
because I know you're following me, but I'm looking at you in my rear view mirror, so I see you. And I'm making
Mm,
sure that there's clearance before I get over in another lane. But first, I put my signal light on. So that's the thing, without a whole lot more details. And so
yeah.
to hear something sarcastic, when I was so careful to make sure you could get over when I got over, I put my signal light on. I gave you plenty of notice of what I'm doing, and it
hmm
still wasn't satisfactory.
hmm
That hurts. So it's
Yeah.
like you go into a place of fear automatically, whether,
Right.
like I said, you're in the car with me or you're following me. And that aggravates the heck out of me, because how much more careful can I be? And then you still say something indirectly. Well, I'm not stupid. I know what you're saying. You know,
hmm
so stuff like that. Something that fear of vulnerability.
Right.
Um, so that was the place, I went into fear of vulnerability, in that situation, and it
Yeah.
stresses me out thinking about it. But
Yeah.
but anyway, you want to add anything or go to self protection?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say so that I mean that kind of goes back to what we said earlier about walking on eggshells. Um, no matter what I do, I can't do anything right. So let me make sure that I don't do this, so I don't have to deal with that. You
Yeah,
know, yeah. And people, unfortunately, some people can be so critical.
yeah,
Um, my
and I
question is always, you so critical? Are you that critical of yourself though?
right, right.
Yeah.
So self protection, walls built to survive, but now they block connection. So I, in that situation, I, have built walls of self protection, to protect me from responding, to letting it be known that it hurts, and just wondering, why do you keep doing this? You know,
hmm
why why is this even still a thing? I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So it's very irritating to me and very hurtful.
Right.
Uh, you want to add anything, or you want to go to the next?
We can go on to the next
Okay, so the healing side, becoming emotionally available takes awareness and patience, not perfection.
one.
It trips me out when stuff like this happen. When we talk about something, and then the next, and then the answer comes right after it. Um,
Yeah.
Steps to heal: acknowledge it. You can't change what you don't name or verbally speak out.
Right.
Here's the next step. Number two: learn emotional vocabulary. Name what you feel: hurt,
Mm-hmm.
disappointed, scared, lonely. Didn't I just do that? Um, I
Yep.
feel hurt. And say it aloud. I did. And now decide. So the next thing is decide. Is this how I really want to feel? No, it ain't. So then now it's time for me to make a choice. The next thing is make a choice, then follow through to achieve the choice. And um, so I can keep this feeling of hurt and disappointment, or I can let it go. So I've spoken it aloud. I've made a decision. I don't want it. So now I'm making a choice to follow through to achieve the choice. So when that happens again, it's not going to affect me the way that it has or the way that it did.
Right.
So the next thing is, if your choice is no, this is not how I want to feel, say it aloud. I don't want this feeling. Then choose a better feeling and pursue that feeling. And so I'm going to take the time to consciously pursue the feeling that I want in that place, um, once we get done with this show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving from this place. I have to. So I'm going to let you do the next number three.
All right. So number three is practice vulnerability in small doses. Share something personal with a trusted person. Um, Another step would be therapy or journaling. Help and they help unpack your emotions. Uh, I'm sorry, helps unpack why emotions feel unsafe. So it's just again processing. Journaling and therapy. Again, as we talked about a few shows back, you don't always have to write. Sometimes writing is not. You're not able to write in that moment. You may have a recorder on your phone. You know,
Yeah.
speak your feelings out. Verbally through your voice recorder, and then keep it. Keep it, date it, even put a timestamp on it, so you can go back to that and look at how you develop from that feeling, to currently. Um, and that's the same thing you do with the therapist. They take notes about the things you say. So,
Yeah.
number five, and most importantly, I believe, is be patient with yourself. Emotional connection is built through safety, not pressure. And so the message here is emotional unavailability is not a flaw. It's a form of self-protection. But real connection can only happen when we dare to be seen and not just present.
Yeah.
Uh, so, okay. The internal clues uh, are when you're overthinking their every word and action. Where okay, did it mean this by? Oh, did you mean this by?
Yeah.
You're on your toes.
Yeah.
Next is you find yourself making excuses for their behavior. Oh, they just been busy. um, you feel anxious when they pull away, relieved when they're close, a push and pull cycle. Again, yo-yo type thing,
Yeah.
uh, exhaustion. Um, you start shrinking your needs to avoid conflict or disappointment. So the message here is, you're dealing with emotional unavailability when you feel more alone with them than without them. Whew, Lord, that's a word right there. That is a
Yeah.
word right there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
And we should never have to shrink. I found myself doing that. Uh, Starting to shrink and in my needs with my honesty and what I desire to and this is in something else, um but to avoid conflict or disappointment. You know,
Yeah.
me, it's avoiding conflict. I don't want that conflict,
Right.
no matter what it is. I'd rather just, and I wasn't always like this, but the older I get, the less conflict I just don't like conflict.
Right.
So, and I want to be able to deal with things the right way. And I don't just carry it, like I used to. I'll say something about it, maybe not right then. And I found that to be a good thing because if
Right.
I say it right then, sometimes then, even if the person responds to it, then if they don't, and this is just my thought, if they uh, don't respond in the way that I expect them to, then that would cause me to lash out and to say some things that I wouldn't say if I just pause and be quiet, you know.
Right.
And so Mark said a few things here. He said, "Are we playing Clue again?" Uh,
Yeah.
and then he said, "I used to love that game." And then he said, "But clues are important in dealing with bullies." Yes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then he said, "Never be a shrinking violet." And he said, "I
Right.
hate conflict. Sometimes I evade conflict, and that's not always healthy." No, it's
Right.
not, Mark. I do it too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to be quiet and listen, or be quiet and don't listen to that, but listen to
Right.
the quietness of us closing our mouth and just not saying anything in
Right.
response to whatever is going on at that moment.
Right.
Because can't remember his name, but if we can't solve, and every time I say it, and then I think of his name later, and then I say, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
But you can solve a
A
problem on the
problem on the same same
conscious,
level that it was created.
yeah, that it was created. And so if you go in attack mode like they're doing, or go in a belittling mode, or an insulting or humiliating mode, then what good is that gonna do?
Right.
You So if you're doing them the same way they doing you, what good is that gonna do? It just makes you more angry.
Right. And creates a
So
bigger problem.
yeah, definitely creates a bigger problem. So how much time do we have? Still got, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
How to know you might be emotionally unavailable.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So sometimes we attract what we are. Emotional unavailability can live in us too. So self-check question. Do I shut down when others express strong feelings? Do I find deep emotional conversations uncomfortable or too much? Do I stay busy or distracted instead of dealing with how I feel? Do I believe needing someone equals weakness? Mm. Do I end relationships when they start getting serious or pick emotionally distant people to avoid being vulnerable? So the inner experience is you value independence so much that closeness feels like a threat. You like control. Being vulnerable means giving that up. And man, trying to control someone else because you are scared of being, vulnerable is hell.
Yeah.
All capital letters. All capital letters.
Yep.
uh, you've been hurt before, so your heart says never again.
Yeah.
I was at that point.
Yeah.
Um, you've been hurt before. No, I just read that. I'm sorry. You might feel numb, not sad, not happy, just flat.
Yep.
I, man, I know that feeling all too much. Um, so the message here, though, is emotional unavailability isn't always about others. Sometimes it's our own heart saying, "I'm not ready to be seen."
Yeah.
That's
And
heavy
it's
right there.
It's okay to take that time to get your heart right and to get your heart together,
Right,
because hurt people. If
right,
we don't deal with our hurt, we're gonna hurt somebody else. And
right.
it may not be our intentions, but it's gonna happen because we haven't dealt with and processed our
Hmm.
emotions in that thing, and so we're bleeding out onto others.
Right. Yep.
And
That's
they
the term. Yep.
about the wound don't necessarily know nothing about the wound. They may not know about the wound, and they may know, but they're not, more than likely that person is not trying to re-wound you or open up that wound, that closed wound, So it just depends. I mean, what you're dealing with, what kind of person you're dealing with, and all of that. So, we just have to be careful not to hurt people. Mark said, hurt people haven't done the healing process, which is vital. It's very, very vital.
Right.
Very.
Yep.
You want to add something?
Yeah. I mean, when you don't go through the process of constantly healing yourself, when it's it's like this. When you don't make the conscious effort to heal, then it's like you're making the conscious effort to cause harm to yourself further and those around you because it's natural. Like they
Yeah.
say, one bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah.
You got a rotten apple and a bunch of good apples. Eventually, the rest of the apples will go bad because
Yeah.
that one apple that was rotting didn't cut out that rot and heal itself. You know, so from that point, again, you've constantly chosen to infect everyone around you,
Yeah.
which creates a bigger ripple effect of pain and chaos and conflict and turmoil. And we don't need more of that in the world. We have enough of that going on.
Right. So we're gonna stop here. We still have a few minutes. Um, I want to encourage everybody that might watch this video, and hopefully you'll share it as well. Um, to deal with your hurt and your pain, and we say this often, but it's so important to do that, um, to admit that you're hurting, and don't lie and say, well, this ain't that, and because I'm speaking words into existence. Think more about putting the word out there. I'm hurt, I'm mad. That's being honest. But then come right back and say, but I don't want this. This is not what I want. And then say what you want after that. I don't want to be mad. I want to be happy. Or I don't want to feel frustrated. I want to feel loved, and I want to feel like I can say what I need to say without, you getting upset, or without you getting offended. That's not my purpose. And then start searching for that thing that you do want. I don't want to be mad. I want to be happy. What makes me happy? Think more about that, and then go on that happy trail to do whatever that is. Listen to however you start, listening to music, writing, journaling, whatever it means to get started on that other road, so that you're not staying in that place of hurt and pain. You want to add something? We got a few.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So definitely, let's be clear about language. Saying "I am" is a state of being. You know, saying "I am sad," you create more opportunities for yourself to be sad.
Yeah.
I think the term that my therapist told me this. Be very clear about the language that you use about your emotions. Saying "I am" means that you are that, and you will further become that. But say "I feel," and feelings are fleeting. They're here now and they're gone later.
Yeah.
Emotions are like rivers. You have there's a turbulent flow, and then at another level it's calm and placid. You know, but when you acknowledge that feeling, not only do you acknowledge that it's temporary, um, but you also acknowledge what you're going through, and then that gives you the um, the first step to healing, to that healing process. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
basically, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel, you know, disconnected, I feel, I don't know, whatever you feel, but
Yeah.
address it as that feeling. And like I said, that's shining the light on it. So, and it gives you the opportunity to process it, break it down, transmute it into something that is more conducive to what you want, like you said. That's opposed to being stuck there in that place.
So don't say I am, say I feel, and you're acknowledging your feelings. Okay, y'all got that?
There we go. 'Cause we don't want to get stuck there.
I was wrong. Oh, but we love y'all and we send y'all peace. We send y'all love. Take care, and we will see y'all next time.